In today's video, I will share with you what I learned about health while trying to achieve it. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, my name is Sylvia and I'm a big city mom and a carnivore coach. People in my circle know me for being always into health, healthy lifestyle, diet, and so they will often ask why I didn't start my YouTube channel earlier. And the truth is, thank God I didn't start my YouTube channel earlier because I made a lot of mistakes along the way. And if I were to share that journey with you, I would be quite embarrassed for all the silly things I did and all the silly things I believed. Now, the reason I started my YouTube channel is because I actually had evidence with my own health, being able to reverse autoimmunity, and I thought that this is a good idea to start a YouTube channel, start sharing it, not my beliefs about health or healthy lifestyle. I just wanted something really solid to be valuable enough to be shared with others. So let's go through the list of things I've learned about health, and maybe this will be useful to you as well. Let's start with the one that is most relevant to me, and that's leaky gut. This is one of the most overlooked things in the modern world. I'm serious about it. Just about everybody has different degrees of leaky gut in the Western countries. And this is also a conclusion of the clinic in Hungary, Paleomedicina. They say that about 90% of today's population has some level of leaky gut. And for those of you that don't know, leaky gut is inability of your gut to block toxins, undigested foods and bacteria from crossing into the bloodstream, and that causes a reaction of your immune system, which will lead to systemic inflammation and different versions of chronic disease, all of them having its root cause in the leaky gut. While I was searching for the answers for my own condition, I ran into the concept of the leaky gut many years ago, but I never took it seriously. It was a kind of a background noise. While I was researching rheumatoid arthritis, leaky gut would come up every now and then, but I never gave it any serious thought until I got to know Paleomedicina, and then my perspective has changed completely, so it only took me about 15 years to realize it. I guess better late than never. When it comes to the conventional medicine, they don't really acknowledge leaky gut as being at the center of many chronic modern diseases. And when it comes to the traditional medicines, such as traditional Chinese medicine or Indian Ayurveda, they have never dealt with the degree of damage to the guts that we experience today. So neither one of them have very good solutions. Meaningful solutions. Traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurveda will focus a lot on anti-inflammatory foods and supplements, but it doesn't really address that leakiness of the gut and how to seal it and normalize it. And the solution is relatively easy. You remove all the foods that contribute and aggravate the leakiness of your gut, and you give it the foods that it will reverse the gut permeability, and that's mostly animal meat and animal fats. That's pretty much it. In my opinion, just about every modern chronic disease traces back to the leakiness of your gut. So if you have the long list of autoimmune conditions, allergies, asthma, certain types of cancers, epilepsy, fibromyalgia, the first place to start looking into is what's going on with your gut. And just so you know, Paleomedicina isn't a holistic or alternative medicine clinic. There are proper doctors and scientists with the background in research, and their method is really science-based, data-based, evidence-based. So if you need some serious answers backed up by testing, such as PEG 400, Paleomedicina is the way to go. Number 2 of the things that I learned about health is you cannot supplement your way out of bad diet and bad lifestyle choices. And I'm speaking from my own experience. I did hold a lot of bad beliefs about what a healthy diet is, but that's going to be my next point. But I used to research all kinds of compounds and how they can influence human body, and anytime a supplement company would come up with that supplement, I would buy it and I would try it whether I needed it or not. That was just a health hack, and that was investment in longevity. At least that's how I thought about it then. And I am here to tell you now that this isn't the right approach. Supplements have their place for a certain period of time for specific purpose, and you should not abuse them for health reasons and for the financial cost that will incur. One time I went to an Ayurvedic doctor that prescribed me a protocol for a diet, supplementation, and home remedies, and that went on for over a year. And it was a mix of about 50 different herbs. I spent around $4,000, and I didn't reverse my rheumatoid arthritis. At best, it just helped with my symptoms. It went away for a time, and then it came back because my body just got used to it. And I was back to square one, and $4,000 less in my pocket. All right, another interesting thing I learned is that not all conventional doctors are bad. And let me tell you this, I have very good reasons not to trust allopathic doctors, because they have hurt me big time and left me with a major trauma for the rest of my life. So it must be now at least 15 years ago, I got hit by a car and had a major head injury, was taken to the hospital in ambulance, and those of you that are in New York will know that. Bellevue isn't the best hospital, but apparently they do specialize in head injuries. So I got to their intensive care unit, and the first thing they did to me is what you're not supposed to do, which is give me morphine. And so I went into anaphylactic shock, and I literally watched myself red and shaking all over, like just floating about my dying body. So it took them about half an hour to bring me back, and then they give me some more drugs to calm me down, and then I fell asleep. And then I woke up on the floor filled with inmates, people in jumpsuits, handcuffed to their hospital beds, because Bellevue too was servicing people in the prison. And I don't know why I end up on that floor, but that's where I woke up. As you can imagine, this wasn't a very pleasant experience. And so when I got out of that hospital, I said to myself, never again will I trust anybody that has MD next to their name. And I went out of my way to avoid allopathic doctors doing any kind of checkups, tests. However, with time, I actually got to know conventional doctors, Dr. Clemens being one of them, that actually had a solution to reverse my autoimmunity. There are many doctors in the carnivore community, so the world is changing. There are a lot of conventional doctors that will recommend low-carb diet as a meaningful strategy to reverse diabetes. So the world is changing, and you can find a good conventional doctor with a MD title next to his name or her name, and you will be helped genuinely, and you will get a good medical advice. Now, that said, my philosophy is always be the one that is in charge of your health, and always be the one that makes the final decisions. But yeah, there are some good doctors whom you can trust and form a good partnership. And yet another interesting thing I learned on my journey to health is that there is a group of people in the world, myself included, for whom fiber isn't the solution for constipation. In fact, fiber will make the matters worse. However, each time I ask either allopathic doctor or alternative medicine doctors, the answer was only one and the same, and it is you need to have more fiber in your diet. And so I believed it, and I was trying all kinds of different fibers, because each time I took a fiber supplement, I was getting bloated and more constipated, and there was no relief. And so I was thinking it must be fiber, I'm just taking the wrong kind of fiber. So I was researching and shipping things from all over the world. I got once fiber from Iran, sometimes from India. I had some traditional Chinese medicine mix of herbs and fibers. Nothing worked. I continued being bloated and constipated. And then I ran into the carnivore diet. I removed all the fiber from my diet, and then within a week, my constipation got resolved. That's right, it was this easy. And to be honest, there are actually studies done on 63 individuals that had idiopathic constipation, and they had exactly the same results. I made video about it. I will link it in the description box. But yeah, fiber isn't a solution for everybody. In fact, some people should avoid it. And another thing I learned on my journey to health is that vegetarian and vegan diets aren't a long-term solution, and they will not result with an optimal health. And I'm speaking from experience again, because I tried being vegetarian and vegan, and altogether I was for the period of 7 years. And in that time, I lost about 7 of my molars, and my teeth were in a horrible shape. And so I jokingly say that I paid a molar a year for every year that I was vegetarian and vegan. I was actually mostly vegetarian. Then after like 6 years, I tried being vegan, but my body was so depleted being vegetarian that it probably didn't last more than 6 months, and my body just broke down, and I had to start looking for other avenues. And I then discovered low carb diet, and that's what I started doing. And ever since I went low carb, and after that I went paleo and ketogenic, and then ended up being carnivore. But in that period of time, starting low carb, not another cavity. Many people believe that vegetarian diet originated in India, but in fact it was born here in the Western world. Vegetarianism or veganism in Ayurveda is treated as a form of fast, and it should not exceed 45 days. If you want to learn more about the history of a vegetarian diet here in the West, the best researcher to follow is Belinda Fettke, or a lecture by Dr. Natasha Campbell McBride. I will link it in the description box. Check it out, super interesting information. And the last one for this video, because there is a lot more to discuss, is drinking more water will not make you more hydrated. In fact, people think that drinking more water equals hydration, and that is simply not true. There are a lot more other factors at play that will determine how well hydrated you are. It is a lot more to do with marketing and advent of the bottled water, that we have to drink so much and walk around with the bottles than actually amount of water we need. To get the water molecules into your cells, you will need electrolytes. And so if you are drinking tap water or bottled water that's been on the shelves for a while, you're probably not getting a lot of electrolytes. So you might actually waste some electrolytes, because your body will need electrolytes to get rid of all that excess water that doesn't have enough electrolytes to bind to. And there are other aspects of hydration. For example, if you're eating very high carbohydrate diet, you will need a lot more minerals to digest the carbohydrates, and you will need a lot more water for carbohydrate metabolism. That's why people that are on the carnivore diet require a lot less water, because they have their own metabolic water. Another aspect to think of when it comes to hydration is your environment and the so-called EMFs, electromagnetic fields. They are known to interrupt the intracellular communication, and so the water molecules might not be able to get into your cells if you are surrounded by EMFs. So to manage your environment is also important, to make sure you are well hydrated. Alright, so this will do it for this week's video. I could do probably 3 more videos about things I've learned, mostly things you should not do when it comes to health, and I'm sure you have your own experiences. And do let me know in the comments below. And if you haven't yet, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!